Hey everyone, today I want to talk about brand loyalty and boycotts and the kind of things that make me want to stay with a certain company or not. And I guess planned obsolescence and companies that insert themselves as middlemen. What brought this about? Two things. One, I watched a commercial during the Super Bowl, and it was about Intuit TurboTax, saying that you could file your taxes for free, but for years it's been if you want to use their service, you can do the one for free, and then their state one you have to pay them for, but you could do your federal with them for free, and then them not have a record for you to go back to for your state, and just do your state on your state's website, and you could get around it to make it be free, but they try to insert themselves in there as a sort of cloud function record for your taxes so that you will use all of their services and eventually pay for something. But there are some services that, over the past decade, that have made me feel very bad about the companies. One of these was iPhone's locking of their computers. The Apple, in their infinite wisdom, they launched the iTunes store, and they began to restrict things that previously weren't restricted. And phones in general, be they Apple brand or the other brands, they started to restrict the ability to share files from one phone to another via Bluetooth. And in order to get around that, in order to share files such as ringtones and songs, you had to jailbreak your phone. This is an old problem now. People have gotten around it in different ways, so it's something that you won't hear about as much anymore. But it used to be a thing. It was very important because it was slowing down people's ability to do things that they were naturally inclined to do, legal, illegal, or gray area sharing of files through their phones. And basically, they did it because they wanted you to buy all your ringtones and your songs, your music, and they wanted you to do it individually. Not one person buy it and then share it with a whole, neighborhood full of people. They wanted each and every person to buy it for 99 cents. And for silly little ringtones, that wasn't going to happen ever, you know. They made files about licensing that would stay with songs on your phone, and if the song wasn't licensed, it wouldn't play, with the standard players. And that wasn't just Apple, that was other companies as well. But they let up after a while because they realized that people were just going to get around their OSs, their dashboards, their anything that was preventing them from using the functions of the phone to their fullest. People will find ways to get around whatever obstacles you put in, but capitalism does drive companies to look for ways to restrict functions so that you can't use them unless you pay a little bit more. Another instance of this, which I just tried to get around and I'm not quite there yet, is Hulu. They have a premium service which will work on phones and it will work on tablets. I don't need it on my laptop or my computer because they can run the desktop version of Hulu and they can use the Flash player. Well, the Flash player that used to be with Android, that used to work in order to play Hulu videos if you were to select desktop version of the website instead of mobile, it is now no longer supported, and certain things have been added to the Android OS in order to prevent you from successfully integrating that Flash player into later versions of the Android browser. So there's a lot of workarounds you have to do in order to get Hulu to play its free service that you can play with a laptop or a desktop on your phone. They want you to buy Hulu Plus. They want you to keep on paying them monthly fees instead of just watching ads. And so they haven't let up with that yet. And there are other services that require you to buy their app to play and add additional fees for additional devices, you know. And the internet is headed towards dominating cable and satellite. You know, people are going to start using the internet more and more to get their fix for entertainment. So as this happens, it's disturbing to me that more and more of things that you used to be able to do are now restricted because they're like, oh, wait a second, we're going to take that back and only give you certain services for free. And then if you want those services that you would obviously want to use, then you have to pay a little bit of extra. Even though it used to be free, we don't want it to be free anymore because we want to make money. And we've found a way to write it into the code to restrict you just enough to make it annoying. Another thing that happened within the past 5 years that is along the same lines is e-readers. Kindles and devices like that where the whole tablet is now dedicated to just reading ebooks. But people figured out that if you bought that tablet and then erased the operating system and put a new one on, you could actually get all of the functions of a tablet on that e-reader because they were basically gimped tablets. And there are many e-readers / tablets out there that have recipes for reloading the operating system, and that's actually what they're being sold on now. That's like a selling point. You know, instead of just buying a tablet, you can buy a tablet that's been gimped as an e-reader cheaper and then do it yourself and unlock everything. And, you know, put Android on it and use it just like a regular tablet. And I really don't like companies that try to restrict things that could be really, really good, but they want to insert themselves as middlemen in order to charge nickel and dime prices on everything. You know, just like nickel and diming you to death. You know? And they do it because they've found that it works as a marketing technique. It works to make something seem like it's a very, very low price, you know, every time that you use it. And then it turns out, when you look at your whole life, at all the different things that have nickel and dimed you to death, you know, over the course of your whole life, all of the interest that you've paid on things, and service fees, and late fees, and, you know, little charges for each and everything that look small because they end in 99 and they're actually bigger than what you would psychologically think that they are. You know, all of these things put together, you look back on your life and you could have been saving that money. But instead, these companies have your money. and they've learned different vile ways to exploit the psychology of sales in order to insert themselves into your life, when we could just be a much more open technological society that wasn't being drained by these tech corporations, you know?